I wanted to speak about something particular, about tears and separation, because I think this is the dynamic and fundamental aspect of our philosophy. We have also another very important dynamic aspect, which is the mercy. Mercy is very central in our philosophy and in our spiritual progress, and how we will reach Krishna Prem. It's about mercy. But the tears and the feeling of separation are what invokes mercy, or what can make mercy come faster in our life. And if they're not present, mercy will not really be able to come fully. Mercy will, this is connected with the mercy aspect, you know. So we pray to Srila Prabhupada that speaking on this topic, which is a very pure topic, will enable us to develop more feelings of separation and to help us crying more. Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanyande Gauradvishe Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shishaya Rohilo Prabhu Dvadasa Vatsara Krishnera Viyoga Sfurti Oya Nirantara. For the last 12 years of his life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would continuously remain in absorbing the feeling of separation from Krishna. Shishaya Rohilo Prabhu Dvadasa Vatsara, 12 years. At the end of his life, Krishnera Viyoga Sfurti Hoya Nirantara. Nirantara means always. There is no end. Antar means end. Nirantar means no end. There was no end to Krishna Viyoga. Viyoga is the opposite of yoga. Yoga means connection with Krishna, and Viyoga means separation. Sometimes we call it Viraha. Sometimes we call it Vipraramba. Sometimes we call it Viyoga. This is feeling of separation. Viyoga Sfurti. That means the reality, the realization of separation would always continuously be present in his heart. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So about the feeling of separation is such a central topic in our life, and such a central topic of the gift that Srila Prabhupada gave to us, and the gift of Radha and Krishna. Because Radha and Krishna, they are the embodiment of Viyoga. They are the embodiment of Vipraramba. Now is coming the Ratha Yatra here in New York. Lord Jagannath will come. And Lord Jagannath is the form of separation. Radha, Vihara, Viraha, Vigraha. Radha, Viraha, Vigraha. Is the embodiment of Krishna feeling separation from Radharani. So Krishna is always feeling separation. That's one aspect of prema. Prema is something which is at the same time bitter and sweet. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami said, he compares the indescribable prema to nectar and poison mixed together. Nectar and poison mixed together means union and separation mixed together. So prema is like the union of, is like the mixing of feeling the connection with Krishna and feeling separation from Krishna. That means in prema, separation is always there. Because if the definition of prema that Kaviraj Goswami, the king of all the poets, Kaviraj Goswami is such a Vaishnava. He wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita and then Govinda Lilamrita. That means Chaitanya Charitamrita is pure Bengali poetry, masterpiece. Who can say that Chaitanya Charitamrita is not still the greatest masterpiece of Gaudiya Vaishnava literature? It's divine and it's completely sublime. Plus, then he wrote in Sanskrit, Govinda Lilamrita. So he said the prema is mixing of Sambhoga and Vipralamba, poison and nectar together. It means to be prema, it means the poison will have to be there always. If it is real prema, that means we have to know this poison will be there always. That means the feeling of separation will be there always. Which means that if we're not feeling separation from Krishna, we don't really love Krishna. Because separation is the natural feeling, the natural outcome of love. As soon as you fall in love of someone, you start feeling separation from that person. And if you feel separation from someone, that means you have some love for this person. It cannot be disconnected, because the poison has to be there, mixed to the nectar. That's the definition of prema. And Prabhupada told us the feeling of separation is how we can see our personal spiritual advancement. This is a very important point we have to know in our life, because we have received the mercy of Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave us the holy name. Prabhupada gave us the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He gave us Krishna. He gave us Radha and Krishna. He placed Radha and Krishna in our lives, in our heart, for us to take. But it's all about spiritual progress. We have been given something which is not a final asset. It's not something that a trophy, that I have a trophy and I put it on my chimney and I am the world champion. When you are the world champion, you will be always considered the world champion. You know, all your life you are the world champion. But maybe this person is called the world champion, but since the day he became the world champion, now so many people already they made better score than him. So what kind of champion he is still? He's not really more champion, but he still has the trophy that I am the world champion. At some point in one day I was the world champion. But spiritual life is different. It's about spiritual progress. We have to progress spiritually. And this progress comes according to our feeling of separation. So I wanted to read, for opening this beautiful topic. This topic is an unending topic that we can explore on and on and on. And the more we explore this topic, the more we will progress spiritually. Because the more we will realize, oh, that's what I'm missing in my life. I know so many things, but I'm not crying, or I'm not crying enough. Even if someone is fortunate to be already crying, crying will never be enough. That's why I wanted to call this topic of tears and separation. Because separation is made also experienced by tears. Tears are so important. In Radha and Krishna's pastimes, tears are so important. And I give the proof of this that the Radha Kund and Shyama Kund, which are considered the topmost place of everything, they are the tears of Radha and Krishna. They were manifested in Goloka from the tears of Radha and Krishna. So tears are very important in Krishna's pastimes, and in our life they should also be very important. Once I explained to a devotee that our spiritual progress is actually calculated not by how much book we distributed, not even by how many rounds we chant, not by how many books we read, or by how many verses or knowledge we accumulated in our life. Not by how able we are to philosophically present things, but by how many tears we cry. This makes the difference between Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama. Kanishta is someone who is practicing Krishna consciousness but is not crying. So he's considered Prakrita Bhakta, still living on the material side of reality. He's a devotee, but his feelings are very shallow. There are some feelings, but they are not really making him cry. A Madhyamadikari is a devotee who starts crying. That's why he chants always the holy name of Krishna, because this is his crying. He's crying by chanting the holy name of Krishna. The Mahaprabhu said to the inhabitants of, what is this village? Which is the village of Srinivasacharya and Narahari Sarkar. I have it on the tip of my tongue. I went there a few months ago. I cannot remember. It's near Katwa. Anyway, it will come back. Krishna doesn't want me to tell it like this, or to remember it now. So Mahaprabhu told them, intermediate, a Vaishnava is someone who chants constantly the name of Krishna. Why? Because he's crying inside his heart. And that's the only way to, to appease his feeling of separation, is to chant the holy name constantly. And that's also his crying. And a pure devotee, he said, topmost devotee is he who only by seeing him everybody starts to chant. That means by seeing such a Vaishnava, you will start to cry also. Yes, I remember a dear Vaishnava that I met in Mayapur, Prabhupada disciple. What was his name? My memory is not good tonight. I can see his face, I can remember him. Padmalochan Prabhu. So Padmalochan Prabhu, he said the first time he saw Prabhupada, he was from London. The first time he saw Prabhupada arriving at the airport, tears just start flowing from his eyes just by seeing Prabhupada. Of course, he must be a special soul for having this realization. First time he saw Prabhupada, he said, all his hair, they stood on hair, and tears were falling from his eyes, and he couldn't understand, what is this? Who is this person? That's Uttama Adhikari, and Nityasiddha Parikar. Then if you have the Sukriti from your past birth, past life, enough purity of heart, that's what will happen to you when you meet such devotee. So it's depending on our capacity to feel separation of Krishna. Prabhupada made this point. This is how we judge our spiritual advancement. So if we want to know how much advanced we are, we have to see how much we are crying every day. Not once in a month. Not one tea, sometime in the festival, which is good. Even one tear for Krishna is such a spiritual asset. Eklabar Chaklijal, Bhaktivedanta Thakur said. Eklabar Chaklijal, Eklabar Chaklijal. Nitaiden Korore Sambal, something like that. If Lord Nityananda sees only once, one tear falling from the eye of someone who is chanting the name of Gora, he is ready to give all spiritual asset to that person. Eklabar Chaklejal. This is in Kodhanita, a song. Eklabar Chaklejal, Eklabar Nitaiden Karale Sampa. So even one tear is precious. So I want to start by this beautiful chapter Prabhupada gave us in Krishna book, the Gopis' Feelings of Separation, chapter 35. And Prabhupada writes such a beautiful first paragraph that we have to write on our hearts. The gopis of Vrindavan were so attached to Krishna that they were not satisfied simply with the rasa dance at night. They wanted to associate with him and enjoy his company during the daytime also. When Krishna went to the forest with his cowherd boyfriends and cows, the gopi did not physically take part, but their hearts went with him. Which is very interesting. I mean, during the day, the gopi, they also go with Krishna, but their heart go. That means they're there. Their heart is there. Very important meditation to realize that they always follow Krishna wherever he goes. But if they can't physically, then their heart will go there. And we are heart. That's what we are. That means they go there and they let their body behind them. At that time, the body, external body, becomes more or less disconnected from external reality. They may stand still, or faint, or continue, in a mechanical way, their external action in this world, but their heart is gone somewhere else. And because their hearts went, they were able to enjoy his company through strong feelings of separation. That means not only their heart went, it's not some metaphor that, okay, my heart went, but because their heart went, Prabhupada said, they were able to enjoy his company. That means they were able to really be with him. That means they really went there, and then they are there, even though they are not there. Their heart are there, so much so that they can live it and they can experience When Prabhupada say enjoy, it doesn't mean enjoy like we say enjoy Coca-Cola, or gratify yourself with. It means enjoy in the sense of experiencing, but because this experience of Krishna is unlimited bliss, then inevitably this is experiencing unlimited bliss. But they don't enjoy it like the tendency, the material tendency. Prabhupada use of some words are due to his background and due to his the English not being also his first language. But when he says enjoy, that means experience the unlimited bliss of his company. Because their heart they were able to experience the unlimited bliss of his company. That means they were with him. It's not just a concept, it's a reality. They experience it through strong feelings of separation. That means through strong feelings of separation you can be transferred with Krishna. That means feelings of separation enables you to
achieve union.
Yeah, to achieve the experience of Krishna, to be with him. And they can enable you anything actually. To acquire this strong feeling of separation is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and his direct disciples, the six Goswami. So this is Gauravani. Teaching of Lord Chaitanya and his disciples, that means Gauravani. What is Gauravani? Prabhupada says here, to acquire this strong feeling of separation. Not feeling of separation. Strong. When Prabhupada says strong here also, that means very, very deep feeling of separation. Very deep feeling of separation. And this is called lolyam. Intense desire. Or not being able to survive any longer. There is a beautiful poem Bhaktivedanta Thakur writes to Krishna, and he says, "Oh Krishna, if you don't come, I think I can continue. I can live for 2 or 3 more days. That's it. Otherwise, after that, if you don't come, I will die." So this is what makes our philosophy unique. When I was young and I read this Vaishnava philosophy, I had read many other philosophy and spiritual paths, but never ever I had seen such a depth and intensity of separation. This is non-existent. Only Mahaprabhu is showing us this. I mean, this is Vraja Prem. So to acquire this strong, very, very deep feeling of separation is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and the six Goswami, which means Rupa. That means this is central to his books. Rupa is trying to teach us how to acquire the strong feeling of separation through all the books he wrote. You can see Lalita Madhava is so much separation. Krishna and Dwarka feeling separation from the Rajvasi. Then Radhani appearing as Satyabhama, and she's there, but she doesn't know Krishna is Krishna. And she's feeling separation from him, living in the garden of Navavraj. And Krishna feeling separation of Radhani because he doesn't know she is there. So this is all about separation. And then Rupa Goswami wrote also Ujjvala Nilamani. There is so much separation in Ujjvala Nilamani. So, and then he wrote Amsaduta, which is heartbreaking. Amsaduta is separation from the first line to the last line. Amsaduta starts with Radhani and the gopis going on the bank of the Yamuna. It's the second verse of Amsarupa, Amsaduta. And then she collapses on the floor. Second verse of Amsaduta, she collapses on the floor. And the other gopis, they carry her and lay her on the bed of lotus petal and carry her. One gopi put her head on her lap, and then they start crying because they don't know what to do. This is how Amsaduta starts, and it will continue like this intensity of separation up to the last verse. So this is Rupa, and Rupa Sanatan taught us about separation in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami will, I hope we will have time also to study this, how he describes Krishna explaining the feeling of separation to Uddhava, and how the gopis are feeling constantly separation from him. And then Rupa Sanatan, Raghunath Das Goswami gave us Vilapa Kusumanjali. Vilapa means also feeling of separation. So this is, to acquire this strong feeling of separation, is the Gauravani of Lord, teaching of Lord Gauranga and his direct disciple, the sixth Goswami. That means this is also the mission of Prabhupada, Gauravani Pracharini. Prabhupada's mission is to help us acquire this strong feeling of separation from Krishna. And if we do so, then Prabhupada's mission is successful. But if we don't acquire the feeling of separation from Krishna, then Prabhupada's mission is incomplete. So we have to complete Prabhupada's mission. It is our duty to receive his gift. When we are not in physical contact with Krishna, we can associate with him like the gopis. It means don't think that what the gopis were doing is not for us because these are the gopis and we are not. Prabhupada said no. We can associate with him like the gopis through feelings of separation. Krishna's transcendental form, qualities, pastimes, and entourage are all identical with him. There are 9 different kinds of devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna and feelings of separation elevates the devotee to the highest perfectional level, the level of the gopis. That means the feeling of separation will elevate us to that highest perfectional level, the level of the gopis, which means Adiruddha Mahabhav. Mohanaksha, Bodhanaksha, Madanaksha, Adiruddha Mahabhav. We can attain this by acquiring this feeling of separation. Very important teaching of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada explained, it is stated in Srinivas Acharya's prayer to the 6 Goswamis that they left the material opulences of government service and the princely status of life and went to Vrindavan, where they lived just like ordinary mendicants, begging from door to door. But they were so much enriched with the gopis' feelings of separation that they enjoyed transcendental pleasure, that they experienced transcendental pleasure at every moment. So this is our fortune. They were enriched with the gopis' feeling of separation. So we want to become spiritually rich. We have to become enriched with the gopis' feeling of separation. That means otherwise we are considered poor. Someone who is not enriched with the gopis' feeling of separation is considered poor, or with the Vrajabasi's feeling of separation. This is the real wealth. And because they had that topmost wealth that elevates you to the level of the gopis. I mean, they are gopis, but then the fact that they were beggars or mendicants externally didn't make them less fortunate. because they had that greatest wealth, which is separation from Krishna. Similarly, when Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, he was in the role of Radharani, feeling separation from Krishna. Those who are in the disciplining succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should always feel separation from Krishna. That's clear? We should always feel separation from Krishna. And that means if we're not, then we're not in the disciplic succession of Madhya Gaudiya Sampradaya. That's how Mahaprabhu would recognize the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. When he would saw some person in whom he could see such a very deep feeling of separation, then he would ask that person, are you a disciple of Madhavendra Puri? And every time the person would say, yes, I'm a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And Mahaprabhu would say, yes, I could notice that. This is Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri brought that feeling of separation in the world. So he's our eternal shelter. You know, he is a tree in Vraj. We do take shelter of the trees of Vraj, like Madhavendra Puri. Ayidina daya taranatahi, maturanat kadavalokshati, hridayam da dalo vikataram, dayita brahmyati kim karam yaham. This is Madhavendra Puri's heart. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says only three people can experience the fullness of this verse: Radha, Gauranga, and Madhavendra Puri. So it's not an ordinary tree in Braj. We have to understand that makes him maybe the most fortunate or the most elevated tree in Braj, or at least one of the most. And but he's not saying this to discourage us, because just few lines after he will say this verse is like sandalwood. The more you repeat it, the more its meaning will be revealed in your heart. Like sandalwood, the more you rub it, the more the fragrance will come out. But to understand the fullness of it, that's only Gora, Radha, and Madhavendra Puri. So we take shelter of them if they can allow us to just get one drop of that verse, and then we will recite, we will look at that drop forever, praying to that drop, please enter into my heart. Don't let me without you. Oh, little drop of Madhavendra Puri's verse, please enter into my heart. And Srila Govinda Maharaj would quote this verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you know, pure love of Krishna is like an unlimited ocean. But even just one drop of that ocean is enough for the entire universe to drown in it. So one drop of this verse is a great, great, great treasure. So this is Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. We have Prabhupada, right. Those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should always, this is an instruction. Sometimes devotees say, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada said you should not do this, Prabhupada said you should do this. As far as I'm concerned, Prabhupada said to me this. And you may say whatever you want. This is the instruction of Prabhupada for me. Whoever understands can take that instruction also. And as far as I'm concerned, and I can also claim it without any fear, that this is the most important instruction of Prabhupada, and it goes above all other instructions. This is the, how we could say, the Swarup Lakshana of all instruction of Prabhupada, the heart of all his instruction. Feel separation from Krishna like Madhavendra Puri Pad had given us. Most important, Gauravani of Prabhupada. We should always feel separation from Krishna, worship its transcendent form, and discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastime, his qualities, his entourage, and association. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. You want to attain the highest devotional perfection, you want that richness, then dive into the feeling of separation from Krishna, because without it's not possible. That's the prize. Tataraloliam apimoliam ekanam. The only prize is a deep, intense desire, which is the same thing. It means the same thing in another way. The only prize to obtain prema is a deep, intense desire, or intense feeling of separation from Krishna and his associates. Feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Now I have something I would like to add about this, because this is the new edition of Prabhupada's book, but this verse was a little bit different. How this paragraph. It was a little bit different. Can you give me internet? Or can I take it from my phone?
I can't go out from this or the video will stop.
I can. Because there is one little beauty, particular beauty, that was there in the original version. I'm not criticizing anyone, I respect, but this is something I'd like to add. This very important feeling of separation. So this is a very special gift of Prabhupada, And I think personally we don't speak enough about it. This feeling of separation. We should consider more. We should make it more central in our life. How much separation I'm feeling from Krishna. Am I really feeling separation from Krishna? Or am I just doing this every day, but a little bit carelessly? Okay, I'm coming to it. Please forgive me for these few seconds. The reality of communication. I didn't think about it. I want to add this little thing because Prabhupada explains that the actual duty of the spiritual master is to bring his disciple to experience, to imbibe this feeling of separation. And I don't know why in the edited version it's not there. So we are in Krishna book. Yes. This is volume 1 or volume 2? Volume 1. Huh? Chapter 35. 34 in this version. Anyway. Please open. Yes. Yeah, this sentence is not there in the new version. So we are saying those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should also feel separation from Krishna. And then there is that sentence which I love very much. The spiritual masters should enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection, feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Which means that the spiritual master, they should enrich the devotee with this. This is the service, the duty of the spiritual master, to transmit to us that feeling of separation. That's what we want from our spiritual master. We take shelter of a spiritual master in that hope that he will be able to transfer into our heart that feeling of separation which is not presently here. So this is a very deep topic of Krishna consciousness, and this feeling of separation and tears for Krishna are what makes our Krishna, our life, Krishna conscious or not, or superficially Krishna conscious or deeply Krishna conscious. There are different aspects of this feeling of separation that I hope to be able to investigate. The first is the feelings of separation of Radha and Krishna themselves. The second is our feeling of separation from them and from their associates. Like in Vilapa Kusumanjali, Raghunath Das Goswami writes, in the very beginning, he says, "O Radha, I am drowning in an ocean of pain." This is how he feels in separation from Radharani. Being separated from you, I am drowning in an ocean of pain. Do we feel that we are drowning in an ocean of pain because we are not with Krishna? These feelings are important because they give the substance of Vilapa Kusumanjali. These feelings of not being able to bear the separation from Radharani, in this case, is what qualifies us to attain her mercy. Mercy will come when we will not be able to live any longer without it. And Krishna will appear before us when we will not be able to live without him appearing before us any longer. As long as we can live without Krishna appearing before us, then Krishna will not appear before us. Krishna appears only to save his devotees from imminent death. So it could look a little bit sad and gloomy and, you know how to say, uninspiring topic, but actually it's very beautiful, very blissful, and transcendental topic, because that's what makes the beauty of prema and the beauty of love. It's not an ugly suffering. It's a beautiful transcendental suffering, which is actually more blissful than the feeling of being with Krishna. It is even told to us by our acharyas. So beautiful. So Raghunath Das Goswami is explaining this. He is explaining that he feels the separation from Radhani to be like poison killing him. Poison of the black snake of separation. And he said, I am already dead. While I am writing this, I am a dead person, because I've been bitten by the black snake of separation from you. So this is how we should feel, being separated from Krishna. We should feel already dead, because the poison of separation from Krishna is spreading in all our cells. That's what poison does. Poison goes into the blood, and because of the heartbeat and the blood flow, it reaches the blood. The blood is the transporting oxygen and whatever in every cell of our body. There is not one cell that doesn't get blood, because otherwise it cannot live. So billions and billions of cells. So if poison goes into the blood, then it will reach all the cells of our body. So he compares the feeling of separation like this, poison going to attain all the cells of our body. This is how we have to feel the absence of Radha. It must be like a deadly poison. And we have to feel that not only am I dying, but I'm already dead by the effect of that poison. And then he said, and because I'm already dead, please, O Devi, bring me back to life.
With the medicine.
With the medicine of the red lac of your reddish souls. Very interesting. That's his claim, I am dead. I am already dead by the poison of separation from you. So please revive me, because you have this power. This is Lolyam. Tatra Lolyam, Apimolyam Ekanam. This is the price to pay for receiving Radhani's full mercy. Of course, we receive Radhani's mercy every day. Any devotee in the world who is chanting Krishna's name is already receiving a lot of mercy from Radhani. From the very beginning of our spiritual life, the very first moment we meet the devotees and we start reading Srila Prabhupada's books, being in contact with Prabhupada, it's already the mercy of Radha, because Prabhupada is Sri Krishna Kripa Srimurti, the embodiment of the mercy of Krishna, but he's also Radha Kripa Srimurti. He's the embodiment of the mercy of Radha and Prabhupada. Very much, very, very much. So whoever receives the book of Prabhupada in the street also already comes into contact with the mercy of Radha, but then it's about how much we dive into that mercy of Radhani. And the ultimate level of receiving the ultimate mercy of Radhani is this feeling that we're dying, being separated from her. And then Raghunath Das Goswami says, and since separation from you is like burning in a forest fire, if If you have ever seen a forest fire, you understand that this is an intense experience. When I was a kid, I would go with my mother every summer to a very beautiful island in the Mediterranean Sea, south of France, named Corsica. Very beautiful island. And we would spend all our summer vacation there. Because my mother, she was a teacher, she had same holidays like me, same length. And we would camp in the nature. And I remember there were a lot of forest fires because it's a very dry place, like we have often in California, also in different places in the world. This place had a lot of forest fire, and once I remember we stopped with the car. We were just in front of the the outskirts of the forest. There were big pine trees. I don't know how high they were, maybe 60 feet high. And when you see an entire forest, just in front of me, they were maybe, I don't know, not so far from it, fully inflamed. It was very impressive. It's forest fire. It's not a chimney fire. It's gigantic. So Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, separation from Radharani is like also burning in forest fire. These are the three feelings that he establishes in the beginning of Vilapakusumanjali as the example of what means Tatra Lolyam Api Moryam Ekanam. This is the price to pay for receiving Radharani's grace. It may look intense. Some devotees, they may not want to attain such intensity in their life, but we should always remember that it's not an intensity of pain. This is an intensity of love. And actually the feeling because separation is an expression of love. So when the level of love for Radha and Krishna attain such dimension, then we live in prem. And that's the most beautiful thing that exists. And Radha and Krishna themselves, they're living into such reality constantly. That's Prabhupada's very wonderful introduction to this reality of viraha. No, I wasn't there. We would come back to these two paragraphs often, and I would recommend all devotees to understand them. I think this is not some original verses from the Bhagavatam. This is Prabhupada's introduction to to this chapter of the gopis' feelings of separation. Union in separation. How much we feel separation, that much you are connected to Krishna. Krishna consciousness is all about feeling separation from Krishna. That's how we define how much advanced we are. And that's what we have to always improve. There will never be a day where we will feel enough separation from Krishna, because love has no end, and it's always growing, should be always able to grow further and further. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita's 4th chapter, Krishna says, the love of Radharani, although the love of Radharani is all-pervading and unlimited, still it continues to grow at every moment. And Krishna's mind is blown by thinking about that. Krishna cannot understand how is it possible that her love is already all-pervading and unlimited, still it's continuing to grow at every moment? This is Radha. Radha's love means, even though it's already all-pervading and unlimited, still the love of Radha is growing. So what Prabhupada came to give us is this, access to this unlimitedly growing love. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Ananda means love. It means unlimited bliss, but unlimited bliss cannot be something else than prema. It means prema ananda, the unlimited bliss of love. So this is the beauty of Radha and his love. This is what we have to connect with. So in this topic of tears and separation, I would like to investigate more and more for our own purification, as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Apana Shodite. For my own purification, I will write this Chaitanya Charitamrita. For our own purification, to speak, try to fathom more and more, or dive deeper and deeper in this reality of separation, hoping that this unlimited separation of Radha and Krishna will also come in our life. Then our life will become sublime. Then chanting becomes another experience. And we feel real separation from Krishna. Then chanting is another experience. Then everything is like new. Nothing will ever be the same. So in the beginning we have some little feeling of separation from Krishna, but this has to grow. We should never stop. This is our daily thing. Today I have to feel more separation from Krishna than yesterday. And if I don't, that means I am missing something in my daily life. Because normally I should feel more separation from Krishna today than yesterday. And tomorrow also. This is our barometer. We have to check our heart. And tears will have to flow from our eyes, not just drop from our eyes. They will have to flow from our eyes. But that's for the good. These are good tears, you know. We speak about good tears. These are the best tears. Krishna's tears, or the tears of prema. We will speak also about Krishna's tears. We will speak about Radharani's tears. We will speak about Gauranga's tears. And we will speak about our tears. And all this in the beautiful topic of separation. Because I feel that this is what misses the most in our life. We know so many things, but we don't cry enough, or we don't live these things to the fullest extent, because that is missing. Not enough tears, not enough feeling of separation. And I am sure, by my own little experience, I can say for sure that as soon as this feeling of separation increases, then everything becomes so magic. Then we understand, oh, this is what Krishna consciousness is. And we come in contact with that beautiful reality of Raja Prem, which is the most sublime love and most sublime feeling of separation from Krishna. So thank you very much. I'm happy to be able to start this beautiful subject. I know already this will be impossible to complete it, but keep in touch. What to do? We have to try to swim in the ocean and to cross that ocean. Even though we already know it will not be able to complete the subject, still we will be benefited, unlimitedly benefited by the little attempt to try to do so. I'm sure about that. I feel already very much purified by saying this. And I'm quite sure that by putting again these things in the center, our chanting will be better tomorrow. Because tomorrow we will approach the name of Radha and Krishna in a different way. A little drop of separation maybe has brushed our heart by just contemplating these subjects from afar. We are like very little children coming on the shore of Krishna's ocean of love. The little children, they can't swim in the ocean. They can only touch the small waves that come onto the beach, and they put their hands like this and they touch the little waves. That's what we can do up to now. If we go too far, we can't, But these waves are very powerful. If we keep our hands in them, they make us grow, and they will allow us to even dive deep into that ocean and swim there deeper and further for eternity. So we are these little children playing with these little waves, and that's already a beautiful blessing. May this separation of Krishna that Prabhupada brought to us appear in our heart by His grace. This is our only hope.
Question. In another place, Srila Prabhupada says, one must learn the simple art of crying for Krishna, and such tears are the price for the highest perfection.
Same thing.
And so, when you were speaking about tears, I was thinking about, does this mean only external tears? Or one can be crying
this
without
is what
shedding tears externally
we call
also?
Atmar Krandan. This is the crying of the heart. The soul is crying. It may manifest externally in the form of tears, but not obliged. It's another level of tears. The heart is crying. It is possible that our heart is crying so much that also torrents of tears will come from our eyes. This is quite a very high level. This is what we call the level of bhava, when Astasadvika bhava manifests fully. Previously to that, we may cry. It is what we call bhava abhas. That means some feelings of separation, some tears from our heart will become sometimes more powerful, and we will cry a little, or even some cry, depending on which level we are. But it is also possible that someone's heart is crying while no tears externally flow from his eyes. His heart may be crying. this depends on Krishna, as the sattvic above, they are not our control, they are not our manifestation, they are manifestation of Krishna's grace. When the end of Radha will touch us, then we will cry, maybe externally. But that depends also on her will. And what is important is that our heart cries, because it is also possible that someone sheds tears externally, but his heart is not really crying. Some people have some facility for crying in this world. Like, for example, women, they cry more easily than men. Why? Because this is a nature, material nature. This is good for them, all respects for the women. And this is a good quality, very good, I would say, good quality they have. They cry more easily than men, and this is completely compatible with spiritual life. They can be happy with that. Men are taught to be tough and strong and don't cry. So we developed that feeling since we were young that I should not cry. And we became pretty good with that. As kids, we would cry sometimes, but it's like that. We've been taught like this, and also our nature is less like crying. But that's only external, some, and not only women. Sometimes men who have, there are some men also who have tendency to cry easily, or they're very emotional persons, which is also not a bad quality, but it may not be transcendental. Some people will cry easily. Doesn't mean obligatorily that they are very much advanced. They are advanced, and we are advanced depending on how much our soul is crying of separation from Krishna. Really, this is what it means. So this is what we have to focus on. We should not focus on making tears appear from our eyes. Otherwise, we may be engaged in Hollywood for some movie, but not in Krishna's movie. In Krishna's eternal pastimes, eternal lila, we don't consider
we won't get the job.
Huh?
We won't get the job.
No, we won't get the job unless our real heart is crying. In Krishna, it doesn't matter if tears are flowing externally or not. It depends on if our heart is crying. At Mark Randon. So thank you very much. Please bless us by praying for us and joining us in the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's service, and trying to really take at heart, discover and take at heart what he is sharing with us. And of course we mean Prabhupada, but not only Prabhupada, also Rupa Sanatan, Srila Vishwanath, Narottam, Srinivas, and all of them, Srila Bhaktivedanta. Everything we say for Prabhupada, we should be able to say also for all the other acharyas. And in our heart, even though Prabhupada is our very special connection with Krishna, he should be on the same place, on the same level as Narottam or Bhaktivinoda, and because they are the same. They're coming from the same world. They are close, how to say, girlfriends of Sri Radha, as Srila Govinda Maharaj would say. So they may have some preference, we may have some preference for such and such, of Radharani's servants or girlfriend, but that doesn't make them more than another. Because in the spiritual world, everybody is the most, in one sense, in his own way. Rati Manjari is the most, and Rupa Manjari is the most also. But Kasturi Manjari, she's also the most in her own way, in something. And Lalita, she is the most greatest, of Radharani's girlfriend. But Vishaka, she is also the best girlfriend of Radharani. And Champakalata also in her own way, in a different way. So when we say the most, between them, it's on such a level that we don't really need to make such a distinction. It's from where we are, it's like if we would compare the Mount Everest and the Mount Annapurna. From where we are, on the beach level 0, it doesn't really matter if one is some dozens of feet higher than the other, They are all, in one sense, unreachable for us. Reachable, but so gigantic. Maharaj Parikshit says to his mother Uttara in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that compared to the devotees, to the gopis' love for Krishna, I am just like a mosquito compared to Mount Meru. So they are all most sublime. Even though every one of us will have some particular feeling for one of them. Be it even Mother Yashoda or Subal. They are such special personalities. And whatever rasa we are in, we need still the blessing of Mother Yashoda and Subal. It's not possible to reach the full mercy of Radharani without also embracing all her daily entourage. So Mother Yashoda is the daily entourage of Radha. And Radha has so much love for Mother Yashoda that it won't be possible to attain Radha's full grace without loving also with such a love Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj or Subal and Sridham, his brother. We need to love all of them, like it's written in Vrajavidas Stava by Raghunath Das Goswami, showing us how much he loves all the different inhabitants of Vraj. We need also to love Vrinda Devi. Without the love of Vrinda Devi, it's not very possible, because she's central. So if you don't love her, so love will accumulate for all these people. The more love of Krishna and Radha will appear, the more feelings of separation for them will come in our heart. Then we will feel the same thing also for Lalita Vishaka. Vrinda is such a beautiful person. But we have to stop here for today. It's getting late and we need to continue tomorrow. Jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Shri Gaur Prem Ki Jai.
Jai.